Trustees to order Monday, January 5, 2015 at 6:30 p.m. We have quorum. The agenda was properly posted.
Yes.
We'll have a roll call, please.
Jack Henry.
Here.
Ed LeMay.
Here.
Rebecca Nicky. Here. Jennifer Pickle is maybe coming in. Harvey Potter.
Here.
Dave Wallace.
Here.
Diane Wiedenbeck.
Here.
Jennifer Pickle.
Thank you. We'll rise for the Pledge of Allegiance as soon as Jennifer gets ready.
You don't have to wait for me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item 4 is public appearances, the public's opportunity to speak about any subject that is not a specific agenda item. Is there anyone wishing to speak? Item 5, discuss and consider the minutes of the regular meeting for the Village Board for December 15, 2014.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion is second to approve the minutes. Is there any discussion? On hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Any abstentions? I don't think so. Motion passes. We have no presentations to the board this evening. Item 7, unfinished business, Village Police Department implementation update.
The police department portion of the municipal services building is substantially complete, and PD received a occupancy permit on 12/31.
Good.
The move and transition has gone just about as smoothly as one could expect under these circumstances. The only issue off the top of my head was an objection from the town chairman regarding ownership of staplers, pens, and coffee mugs. Things are going relatively well. The construction costs remain within the amended budget for the project. During the month of January, construction crews will be finalizing punch list items regarding the PD, as well as working on areas of the PD that were not deemed critical for the occupancy, for initial occupancy. The Public Works and Parks and Recreation offices will commence construction in February at some point. The entire project should be completed in the spring. We anticipate being able to hold an open house for the completed building sometime in May. It might be beneficial to coordinate the open house with a public meet and greet with the village's new police chief.
Okay.
When we have a better feeling as to the timing of everything, we can solidify those plans. So that can maybe be a future agenda item. With that, I'll pass it off to Chief Roberts for some general comments and recruitment update.
I would like to first thank everyone for getting me here so I could be involved in the transition to the new police department. I've been involved in about 8 public buildings where we built them out, and I must say this has gone exceedingly well, and I have to really give people credit that were involved in initial planning for the short turnaround that you had here. You just have done a really very, very good job, and it's going to be a building that ultimately, when it's finished, everyone that occupies it can be very, very proud of it. I have met with your commission on your recruitment process. We have set up a recruitment schedule on Christmas Day. The announcements went out. It closes on the 20th of January. We've publicly announced it in state and regional journals, but we've also done a national advertisement, and all of those efforts are showing pretty good fruit at this point. We've got a lot of interest in the position. Does anybody have any questions?
I do. Go ahead. Are you open for visitors?
Yeah, right now, the way the building is set up, we're taking very limited visitation. We still have some record security and some overhead camera, some work like that we're doing. But if a board member wants to stop in, all you need to do is send me a note, and I'll make sure that I'm there and I'll show you around.
Okay, thank you. Ed?
I stopped in on Saturday during non-regular business hours, and one of the cruisers was out front running, so I'm assuming someone was there and, and occupying the building. Most of the vehicles were there. but they were outside. Is there access to the parking bays?
Right now, the bays are closed.
Okay.
Until we finish one portion of the construction, and we have some storage items out in the bays that we're moving in, putting in shelving, that kind of thing.
Because I saw the press board was still up
Right,
on the garage
right.
doors.
And we anticipate that within the next 10 days, that transition will happen, and then the cars will get slowly moved into the building.
Okay. I don't know how much you are aware of, there was a lot of trepidation about the cost of the build-out. You had said that you've been previously involved in 8 of these. I don't know, are you aware of what we're paying for the build-out? And then secondly, given the time constraints, does that seem reasonable? We were kind of, there was a lot of angst about it because it started out at one point and then it went a little higher, then it went considerably higher. And I'm just wondering if, having been part of this, if you've ever been associated with something on a similarly short timeline.
I've been associated with ones that have longer timelines than this, that cost more and didn't provide as much space and weren't as well planned as this is.
Okay.
I had a look at the overview of the budget and then the individual line items that you had against things that you're putting in the building. And I would have to say that you did an exceptional job at identifying the things that the officers are going to need. And the budget, given the structure of what you're dealing with, is extremely reasonable and very conservative. I'm impressed by it.
Okay. I think we all value your opinion pretty greatly, so I was wondering if you had that insight, so thank you for that opinion.
And Ed, I spoke with a contractor that didn't have the low bid, and I asked them, how much did the timeline affect their bid since they were higher, and they said it really didn't. It was
Didn't have anything to do with it.
It affected maybe a couple orders to the tune of like $20,000, and we're talking about construction itself being about 1.7 million plus contingencies and other costs. So
Okay.
$20,000
Right.
isn't too substantial. So
Yeah. I mean, for the amount of concern that we all had over that, it's good to know that actually at the end of the day, we kind of ended up probably where we could have been or should have been or would have been anyway. So I think that's reassuring to me personally anyway. So thank you.
we just didn't receive a viable initial budget from the architect. That's all it came down to.
Yep, agreed.
Any other questions for the chief?
Oh, I'm sorry, just one more question, Bob. You mentioned that the search is national. Is that common?
It is common, particularly in this day and age, where even when you try to regionalize a search, it ends up nationally because many of the groups in our field will grab advertisements and push them out to other states.
Sure.
In this case, we made a deliberate effort to have that happen, so we could look at candidates from states that might have early retirement or very progressive advanced management training programs where people are in command positions and are looking to get to a better state and in a better quality community. And I think we'll get some good targeted applicants as a result of that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much for your report.
But
Item 7B, discuss and consider proposed amendment to developer agreement for 4th edition to West Lawn. Lee, do you want to talk us through
Sure.
that?
In September of 2013, the village board approved, or at least this is when it was executed, a development agreement for the 4th addition to West Lawn Estates. And that has 6 phases to it, at least that's the plan. And if you recall, at the last meeting, you approved phase 2. This was also on the agenda, and I hadn't had a chance to talk with the Homburgs about it to make sure that they were on the same page, but they are. What you have before you tonight is an amendment to the developers agreement, and essentially what the amendment does is it changes and it recognizes that the village had originally agreed to complete the installation of water main in Gaston Road during the 2014 construction season to coincide with the placement of Reservoir 3 scheduled to be in service in the fall of 2014. That turned out to be overly optimistic, and Matt and staff met with the Hamburgs, and they agreed that that could be extended until no later than December 31st, 2016. So we're amending one paragraph of the agreement. It's actually at the village's request, and it's so it would now read that the village plans to complete the installation of water main in Gaston Road no later than December 31st, 2016, unless otherwise mutually agreed by the parties in writing. So my recommendation would be for approval, and then that will memorialize the fact that both the Hamburgs and the village have agreed to extend the time period for that installation.
And the actual,
Jim was involved in this, I'm assuming.
pardon me?
Jim.
Yes. And the actual planning for when it actually happens would go through the utility commission.
That's probably not gonna happen unless and until the parcels north of the current Hamburg through to Gaston are purchased and for development,
It's
right?
not as much north as it is west, actually, to my knowledge.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought it was north. Okay.
Yeah, but it's they'll need it by this time.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Second.
Motion and second to approve the proposed amendment to developer agreement for the fourth addition to West Lawn. Is there any other discussion? Any other questions for Lee or Matt? On hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Lee. We have no new business this evening. Reports from village boards, commissions, and committees. Deer Grove EMS Commission.
You want to take it? Just kidding. I'm kidding. Okay, we met on December 18th. Our next meeting is on January 15th. Quite a bit of stuff went on. Jerry McMullen is on the Madison EMS firefighters, and he brought information to us that Madison just okayed turnout gear, basically the same level and grade that we purchased. And they, for the pants and coats, Madison paid $32.49 per set. We paid just under $1,500. So just to give you an idea that the purchase that we made was actually at a very good rate. He said that they didn't put a lot of effort into going through them, but anyway, they paid about twice what we just paid for the same stuff. The current run fees for the year are at $424, budgeted for $360, so about $64,000 over. Frequently, you'll hear chiefs say that EMS is in the black. That always confused me because if they're in the black, how come we're contributing $200,000 a year? That never made sense to me. But what he's referring to is that the run fees compared to the budgeted run fees. So technically, they're in the black right now, or EMS is in the black, and that's how that statement is made and how that figure is derived. So the current actual net run fees that we've netted are at $320,000.
Actually received?
Yeah, actual received, I'm sorry, yep. And again, we've got about, 3 months to go. We went through letter of engagement for Johnson Block, who's our auditors. They're our auditors, so we okayed that. The capital expense fund was tabled for now. We have some opinions from Dan Barker and such. And then, what was the other big thing? Oh, the billing services that we go through LifeQuest. We took out an RFP to get other billing services to give us bids, and we got 3 back, one of them including LifeQuest. LifeQuest previously has been a tiered collection. If they're able to collect easily and immediately, they only pay X percent. If it takes them to the next level, they charge us more percentage. If they have to go to, roughing people up, it's higher. But their current proposal is at one flat rate, and it's about 7%. So that's actually lower than our initial percentage was, and they said they're able to do that because of the companies that they're working with. So they gave us a very aggressive bid. We felt it was probably best to stay with them, assuming they can honor that. We have to get clarification that that is one percentage for all, and then it's not going to escalate or step up from there. But barring that being confirmed, we agreed to stay with LifeQuest since they know our company and our building. And really, the only question we had was whether we could kind of get a better price. There had been some issues with them getting us the information that we requested on various instances. They weren't necessarily very responsive about that all the time. We don't know that that's necessarily going to improve or not, but at the same time, rather than switching and going with something we don't know, we thought it'd be best to stay with LifeQuest. At least we know what we have, and if we can get a better rate, that will probably, soothe any ill feelings.
Someone is coming in January for the next meeting,
Yep.
right?
Yep, from LifeQuest. We went into closed session on something, and that was about it.
Okay, thank you. Joint Fire Department.
I'll take that one. We did have enough members to establish a quorum. So we had reviewed the notes that Ed LeMay had previously prepared. We moved on to the contribution to the Emergency Service Buildings Property Repair Fund, which includes the parking lot repairs and continuing on beyond that, but we're going to start off with the repairs to the parking lot, which has been an ongoing need. We also took a look at the repairs to the hose tower. At our previous meetings, we had approved some funds to repair some cracks for moisture migration into the tower, which is bad because when we get the bitter cold temperatures like we're getting now, it tends to freeze the water into ice, and that causes cracking, and that's no good. So it seems like our investment in getting the crack sealed was a good investment because now it's cold, and that will minimize the effect of cracking. There was still some moisture on the inside, but we went through up in the hose tower and took a look at some of the details, but it looks like it was definitely an improvement over what it was. We continued on to consider additional 2015 building needs. After addressing the hose tower, that was the main thing, so we moved on to some of the landscaping issues and stuff out in the front with some of the cosmetics that they pulled out some of the dead shrubbery, and there was some discussion to try and replace that with some yucca type plants that would be a little bit easier to maintain, but yet provide some green out in the front. So we're going to go with some small yucca type plants, low maintenance, that will tend to grow into some greenery in the front of the building. The next meeting will be Monday, February 23rd at 6:30.
Thank you. Parks and Recreation and Forestry.
We did not have a quorum, so we did not meet. Our next meeting is the 15th.
Okay, thank you. Public Relations Committee.
We met on December 17th. Our next meeting is February 18th. Todd Newell is no longer with us on public relations, but I think we're okay without him. We can add somebody if we want. Facebook likes are up to about 200. I've noticed that on the cable channel there is a Facebook page, so Andrew's gotten that out, so that in theory has helped. We're looking at on Facebook some what we called hot issue postings, which would include all the candidates for the upcoming election, runoffs, and so on and so forth. And we basically okayed Andrew to go to the Wisconsin media events, and that was pretty much it for public relations.
Have you heard from Heather?
Have not.
Okay, I did talk to her, and she's going to get in touch with you. So.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Reports from village officers. Jeff Henry.
No report tonight.
Ed LeMay. Want to talk some more?
Sure. The one thing I forgot to mention about EMS was that we did end up getting grants for 11 AEDs, and there was a public relations event that I think Harvey attended, where we thanked the contributors. So there are now 11 AEDs going to be out in the community, and once we get them in place, there's going to be training associated with that, and then we're going to send out a formal thank you to the businesses who contributed.
There's one coming to Village Hall and one Town Hall that I heard.
We've got one.
Got one?
Yep.
Great.
Ed, what's an AED?
An AD, and thank you because I asked about that, is an automated extended defibrillator.
External defibrillator.
External defibrillator, sorry. Just checking you, Jack. Yeah, there you go. It's the Zapper. Yep, it's the two.
That might be
two
of some
Zappers.
interest to me at some point.
Yep.
I can't believe you didn't know what that was.
Well, haven't gotten that far yet.
Yeah, and we got, well, I should say that Jerry and Dwayne got 11 machines and businesses to step up here in town, so that's really, really awesome.
I think they're continuing to do that too, aren't they? They're going to continue working on that?
I think we're okay for now,
Okay.
but
Okay, Rebecca Ninkate.
So as a private citizen, I went in front of the Joint Police Commission to, had my complaint that I submitted last January on the agenda. And I was told slowly that the village board had decided to split the police department, so they were no longer going to be in effect as of 12/31. So they neglected to take up my complaint because of time constraints after 11 months of sitting on it. So as a citizen, as a trustee, I would like to make sure going forward that we don't get in that position again where a vigilante member can refuse to call the commission together when there's a complaint submitted, as is the statutory right, as I understand it. And I think we're in a better place being on our own.
I think it's been addressed, and I think that this commission will make more frequent use of their counsel,
Excellent.
which I think would be a step in the right direction.
Right.
Anything else? No. Thank you. Jennifer Pickle.
Well, I hope everybody had a nice holiday season. I'm in a little bit of the post-Christmas blues, so it takes a little while to get back into the swing of things. But the show choir has their first major performance on Saturday at Viterbo. So if anybody is inclined to travel up to La Crosse, it'll be they always put on a nice show up there. Girls basketball is at Memorial on Tuesday, and Fort Atkinson? Monroe. Oh, that's pizza night. Monroe on Thursday. Yes?
Nothing like a drive to Monroe in the dead of winter to watch a game.
It's good stuff. Good stuff. That's it.
Thank you. Harvey Potter.
No report.
Dave Wallace.
Just to say Happy New Year and thank you to everyone that was involved with the implementation of our new village police department implementation. It's been a work in progress for all of the year. Something that we've all worked on in this room and outside of this room. So everyone that has been involved with that last year, that put in a lot of work to get it done by the end of last year. I think that we can all say Happy New Year and look forward to a new village police department this year.
Thank you. I'd like to report that I will be going to the State and Local Government Partnership Forum on Thursday, January 8th. Harvey and I are both going up. There will be a DCCBA meeting first in DeForest, and then there will be a league presentation of Partnership for Prosperity. There will be some legislative leaders there. It's expected to last from 2 to 6. If you want that, you may have it. Attorney Lee Boucher.
I know each of you get the municipality magazine, and now it has a nice glossy cover instead of the old paper one. But in there's always a series of frequently asked legal questions. I always like to read that and test myself, see if I'm getting the answers right. But I found it interesting that they had one here that says, does the public have the right to speak at a meeting of a governmental body? And they say no. Although Wisconsin open meetings law requires that the public be allowed to attend an open meeting, the public doesn't have the right to address a governmental meeting unless the meeting is a public hearing specifically designed to give the public input on a particular matter. And so I think that, and it does go on to say that frequently they have something like the public appearance section. But I think that over time, with this and other boards, there's been a tradition of allowing people to speak and not creating rules so that they can't. But it's always good to take a quick look at this, and just so you know that there's also no law that prohibits meeting on Sunday.
Good to know.
So, just in case,
What are you trying to say?
just in case,
Which law?
yeah.
Thank you for reading that, because I probably would have read it and called you right away, so thanks. Administrator Matt Gazy. No report. Item 11, communications and miscellaneous business. Consider approval of vouchers.
Motion to approve vouchers as presented.
Have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Motion second to approve the vouchers. Is there any concern, questions?
Yeah, I just want, the amount is rather large this month and this time as opposed to a lot of the other things that we see throughout the year. It's at 383,000, sometimes we're in the 40s, you know. So, but there's a lot of fairly large things in there, like 11,000 for road salt, 18,000 for garbage, 53,000 for Deer Grove, our payment to Deer Grove EMS, 23,000 tax refunds, or tax overpay refunds, and then a $206,000 payment to the Houstons for tax payout. So I don't know if Matt or Deb maybe wants to just address for the general public why those, or that these things happen annually or quarterly or whatever the case might be.
The Houston payout is the reverse TID, in TID 7, and that's an annual payment.
Yep.
The EMS payment, the 53,000, is their first portion of their 2015 budget amount, or our contribution amount. The second, or the remaining, gets paid in March. There are tax overages, which happen every year this time.
Yep.
And there'll be more of those at the next meeting as well. Road salt, that's a one
Yeah,
big
typical
thing
stuff.
as well. So yeah, a lot of things just hit at this time.
Those tax overpayments, though, someone explained to me once that the money is put aside in a trust, and the check comes directly here, and then you need to pay back the...
Yeah, when they pay their
Person.
taxes, if they escrow, and their escrow check is more than what their taxes are, we deposit the entire amount, and then we turn around and write them a check for the difference.
So that's why there's so many of them.
Before the meeting, Trustee Harvey Potter asked, or I guess you have one of the overpayment checks, and so he's going to abstain.
Okay,
He didn't do anything wrong, he's getting money back, so.
okay.
I didn't even notice that.
Oh, yeah, he's the first one.
Just like to bring it to everybody's attention.
You're the first, I didn't even see that. No, I just, like I say, just for general knowledge, because it's considerably larger than normal, so thank you for explaining.
And I have one question on page 1, the Vinnie refund.
Mm-hmm.
It says special assessment N and BB. Is that the move of the house?
Um,
Or,
That lot was assessed twice, in Phase 1 and Phase 2 of the highway and reconstruction. Phase 1, it was assessed with the previous owners, which put in the sidewalk and the curb and gutter. Well, then when he moved his house, the driveway was moved. So he was assessed in the second phase because of the driveway move. The reason why he's getting a refund is because when he then purchased the house, at the closing, the payment of the first special assessment was erroneously missed in the closing papers documents, so he paid for it twice.
okay,
So
gotcha, thank you.
we're refunding him.
Are there any other questions besides are we approving the police amount tonight?
It's now included in the general, which is another reason why it's
Um,
higher.
There's a village amount at the bottom, and there's a police amount, so we're approving.
What we did is the 2014 police expenses are split out because
Okay.
that was Fund 203. Any 2015 expenses and going forward will
Okay.
be combined in with the general fund because
Okay.
it's general now.
So there's a motion on the floor in a second to approve the village portion of the vouchers in the amount of $383,560.26. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Oh,
Abstain.
abstention, sorry. Okay, 601. Thank you. Correspondence, I had a pile of it because I haven't picked it up lately. and we haven't met for 3 weeks. St. Vincent's has sent another charity newsletter and a request for funds. We have from the Department of Transportation, Division of Transportation Investment Management, our highway aids, a total of $271,889.24. A direct deposit to our local government account will be made. We have the Arbor Day letter, along with a request for a donation. We have a Christmas card from Taylor Ridge Senior Apartments. We have another one from Oak Park in Madison. We have a letter from Landmark. As a partner of Landmark Services Cooperative, we thank you for your collaborative efforts and cordially invite you to our upcoming annual meeting. As always, it's been a pleasure working with you over the past year, and we look forward to continuing to work with you in the future. The annual report will be available on their website. The annual meeting will take place Thursday, January 15th at the Landmark main office, 1401 Landmark Drive in Cottage Grove. Business at 2 p.m., followed by reception at the Oaks Golf Course from 3:30 to 5:30. We hope that you will join us. And I got some brochures from Alliant Energy with an envelope. Future agenda items.
We can certainly continue to have the implementation update on there, but there will be less and less news because now that the initial phase is done, the weekly construction meetings are moving to bi-weekly, and there's just going to be less news, which is
Good news.
that's
It's
good
good.
news.
Good news.
So,
But you still want it on the agenda for a while.
yeah, I think we
Yeah,
might as well
okay.
keep it on there.
Okay.
I think Bob will continue to attend, and depending on when LEC starts to meet, this will at least act as, he can give an update here if there aren't action items for LEC, so.
Okay. Any other items people can think of now?
Is LEC planning to meet this month?
I'm sorry.
Are we planning to meet this month,
LEC, we're going to be looking at that with Bob Roberts and
I
Jack and
talked
I.
with Chief Roberts after the last police commission meeting, told him when we typically have it, and said if he feels the need to meet, otherwise, I would go with, there's really nothing pressing. I mean,
Yeah, we're gonna discuss with them and see what items they would need to approve. If there aren't items that need action, then we're not gonna meet just to meet. Because I think he mentioned to me it may be best to wait until maybe close to when the new chief would be hired, but that can be discussed further. But that was his thoughts there.
No arguments for me.
Okay. All right, then I will make the motion that the Village of Cottage Grove Village Board will enter into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin State Statute Section 19.85(1)(c), considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. Discuss terms, conditions for tentative collective bargaining agreement with Wisconsin Professional Police Association, and pursuant to Wisconsin State Statute Section paragraph 19.85(1)(e), deliberating or negotiating the purchase of public property, investing of public funds, conducting other specified business whenever competitive and/or bargaining reasons require a closed session. Negotiate terms and conditions for potential development in TID number 5.
Second.
Motion is second to go into closed session. There'll be a roll call vote, please.
Jack Henwick,
I
Ed LeMay,
Aye.
Rebecca Ninky, Jennifer Pickle, Harvey Potter, Dave Wallace, Diane Wiedenbeck.
Aye.